Okay, Be'ezat Hashem, Na'aseh v'natzliach. I want to welcome you to the Lighthouse as we continue our series, Did You Know? A new series that we started a few weeks ago, talking about water. If you have been with us in the past few weeks, lesson number 1 was an introduction. We spoke about the beginning, Bereshit, Mayim Elyonim, Mayim Tachtonim, Mayim Bochim, Brit Melach. We spoke about Geshem Livracha, very, very interesting introduction to water. Last week we spoke about science, research, Chazal, the characteristics of water, how it behaves and its capabilities to absorb spiritual energy. And we saw that certain waters can have healing powers and certain waters can sometimes be even dangerous. Tonight, we're going to go further into the learning of water. We're going to do a little bit more learning about this very unique molecule called H2O. And we'll see what the Torah says about it, what the Talmud says about it, what the Midrashim say about Mayim. Very, very interesting. Before we start to learn how to be liquid, which is the subject of tonight's lesson, I'd like to give an honorable mention to our class sponsors. We have the Issachar and Zvulun sponsorship, H&M Builders, doing this in memory of their grandfather and in honor of the Dornbush family. Be'ezat Hashem, that the Dornbush family have alav brecha v'atzlacha, health, wealth, success, besorot tovot, and Be'ezat Hashem that they have a chodesh tov as well. We have an additional sponsor tonight, one of our class favorites, one that's become a regular, and I truly appreciate every time that she's here in person, even though that she watches online as well. Henshi Gordetsky, who's doing this in honor of her new grandchildren, Gavriel Chaim Ben Batsheva Riva and Nili Bat Liba Malka. They should grow up and encapsulate true Yirat and Ahavat Hashem, LeTorah, Chuppah, and Maasim Tovim. What a sweet grandmama. Nice. That is beautiful. Hashem bless you, give you bracha v'atzlacha, atzlacha b'chol ma'aseh yadayich, and be'ezat Hashem that you have besorot tovot, and v'ta'ali ma'ala ma'ala bli yerida. Okay, let's get started. We need to start off with a klal. Klal is like a yesod, a foundation, something that has been established in Chazal. And that is water is Torah. Or switch it around. Torah is water. This entire class is going to revolve around that one tagline. Torah is water. Now, what does that mean? Well, let's start off with Shir HaShirim. There's a Midrash Rabbah that says, if you ever read Shir HaShirim, it says, Ki tovim dodeicha miyayin. It says on that particular pasuk, Nimshelu divrei Torah b'mayim, b'yayin, b'shemesh, b'dvash v'chalav. It says anywhere that you see water, wine, oil, milk, and honey, it corresponds to Torah. Tonight we're going to concentrate on the water part of it. But right there we have it established through Midrash Rabbah that Nimshelu divrei Torah b'mayim. One of the most famous pesukim that we have is in Yeshaya. It says, Hoy kol tzameh lechu lamayim. It says, anybody who is thirsty, go to the water. Okay, there's no big chidush over here. Anybody who's thirsty does go and get water. It continues to say, Ma mayim chayim la'olam. Just like the water gives the world, gives life to the world. Kach Torah chayim la'olam. Similarly, the Torah gives life to the world. In other words, we've already learned in the previous lessons the importance of water. We know that that scientists and NASA is always in search of water in space. Where is there another planet that we can find water and that we can inhabit it and live it just like planet Earth? And they've still been struggling with it. In other words, if there's no water, there's no life. That's what they'll tell you. Here the rabbis are telling us, Kach Torah chayim la'olam. Similarly, Torah gives life to the world. As a matter of fact, they say if there's no Torah learning for 1 minute in the world goes back into Tohu Vavohu. What's Tohu Vavohu? That's the state before Bereshit. Before the Genesis, before the beginning of time. Tohu Vavohu. So in order to make sure that we're not going to fall into this state of Tohu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu created that the world turns. And turns for 24 hours. And that means every single minute there's somebody who's up and learning. As a matter of fact, there's a famous story of a rabbi in Kollel. You know, he had his avrechim, and when one of the students walked in the morning, the rabbi actually stood up. So you see a 70-year-old rabbi, a very learned man, stands up for a young kid, 18, 19 years old, and gives him an honor. It's unheard of. So after prayers, everybody comes over to the rabbi and says, "Hey, Rabbi, why did you stand when that avrech walked into the room?" He says, "You should know that the whole world stands on the Torah. And if somebody's not learning Torah for 1 minute, the whole world goes back to Tohu and gets destroyed." So they call him over and he tells them, "What were you doing last night at 3 o'clock in the morning?" He says, "For some reason, I wasn't able to sleep. For some reason, I felt like I couldn't go back to sleep. So instead of just twisting and turning, I picked up a Sefer Tehillim and I said a couple of Pirkei Tehillim. And then after that, I felt a little drowsy, a little sleep, and I went back to sleep." He says that particular moment in time, the whole world was standing on your shoulders. If you weren't learning, if you didn't say those kapitelach of Tehillim during that time, the whole world would have gone to Tohu. And that's why he stood up for him. The whole world stands on the Torah. And without the Torah, we cannot exist. Similarly, the world cannot exist without water. If you recall in the previous lessons, I'll give you a little bit of I'll catch you guys up. We spoke how water can reach incredible depths. It can go to very, very low levels within the earth, as well as draw its water molecules to incredible heights. For example, we spoke about how is it possible that when water rains down and it goes all the way deep down into the roots and deep down into the earth, how does that water travel all the way to the top of the tree, to the top branch, to the top leaf on top? How does the water reach that? So we found out that water defies gravity. Water has two characteristics, two properties, the cohesion and capillary action, which means that each molecule holds onto another molecule, each water molecule holds onto another water molecule, and they pull each other up, defying gravity all the way to the top of the tree, to the top of that leaf. Where can we find that in the Torah? Look what it says. ומה המים מניחים מקום גבוה והולכים במקום נמוך? כך תורה מנחת מי שדעתו גבוהה עליו, דבקת מי שדעתו נמוכה עליו. It says just like the water, you can put it in a very, very low place and it goes to very, very high levels. Similarly, is a person that learns Torah. What happens? He puts himself into such a low level, like Moshe Rabbeinu, Anav, like very humble, and that particular person that goes so low, what happens to him? He goes so high spiritually. Just like water. Furthermore, אמר רבי חמא בר עוקבא, מה המים מגדלים את הצמחים? Just like water is able to grow the plants, כך דברי תורה מגדלים את כל מי שהוא עמל בעין כל צורכן. That's how the Torah also grows the individual that learns the Torah. So in other words, the water grows the plants, the Torah grows the individual. Similar to water. Torah and water. We also learned in the previous lessons about water that it dissolves most substances into it. And it can even be created out of thin air. We could actually create water from air. We could put something into a glass of water and it'll disappear, like sugar, like salt, like coffee, right? I see you have a glass of wine over here. Let's say l'chaim. It's Rosh Chodesh. Chodesh Tov. השם קודשו ברכו ושני מוסר, ברוך אתה אדוני מלך העולם, בורא פרי הגפן. And also, by simply combining hydrogen and oxygen, meaning H2O, which is a large molecule with a smaller molecule, we're able to create water. Where can we see everything that we just learned in Torah? It says, "Uma mayim, en adam gadol mitbayesh lomar lakatan hashkeni mayim." You don't see anybody who's embarrassed to ask a young kid to get him water. You know, adults will always tell a young kid, "Can you get me some water?" Kach divrei Torah. Similarly is learning Torah. En hagadol mitbayesh lomar lakatan lamdeni perek echad, davar echad, upasuk echad, vafilu ot achat. He says, just like we're not embarrassed to ask somebody for a glass of water, you'll see that a real Torah learner is not embarrassed to ask a young kid to say, "Hey, teach me this perek, teach me this pasuk, can you teach me this this one letter?" There's no embarrassment to learn Torah. You know, certain other things, no, you're not going to ask a child for help. You know, he's a child, but not for Torah. And I can tell you right now, this is 100% the true fact, because when I give the children's class on Shabbat, I wait for the chidushim. And many times they come to the class with chidushim that I've never heard before, and it's great, because you learn from a 5-year-old. You learn from a 6-year-old. The kid went to school, came up with the chidush that me as an adult, I never heard it before. You know what? And I accept it. Even one letter, even one word, even one chidush. 100% a true statement. And in water, what happens when you don't know how to swim? You get drawn into it, right? It says the same thing with a person that knows how to study Torah. What happens? Eventually he gets melted into it. Similarly, how water dissolves substances into it, and similarly, a person when he learns Torah, he gets almost like dissolves into the Torah itself. You can see that most people, that once they start to learn Torah, it's like they become, the Torah becomes them and they become the Torah. Furthermore, it says, "Uma mayim yordin tipin tipin." You know, water has a way of falling one drop at a time, one drop at a time, one drop at a time. Kach Torah Adam lomed shte halachot yom v'shtayim lemachar ad shenasa kenachal noveh. It says similarly, a person learns one halakha today and another halakha today, and tomorrow he learns another halakha and another halakha, and all of a sudden he becomes this huge library of Torah, of halakha, of all these different things. Do you mind asking it to get the charger? It seems like it's going to be running low.
Get a water.
And get a water so we can put some refuah on it. So just out the same way that the water drops one by one and it creates a river, similarly a person that learns halakha or learns Dvar Torah, little by little, he becomes himself a river of Torah. As a matter of fact, there's a story of Rabbi Akiva. At the age of 40, you know how he became a Talmid Chacham, how he turned? He saw water and a rock. He was looking around, he was passing by a stream, and he saw that there was a real big rock, and this all around it, the rocks are very jaggedy and very rough, but this particular rock was smooth. Not only was it smooth, but right in the center of it there was a hole. He looked up and he sees that there was a little drop that kept falling. And it pierced the rock, little by little, one drop at a time, one drop at a time. He says, if one drop of water over a series of time can make a hole in a rock, surely I can also learn Torah one halakha at a time, one divrei Torah at a time. And that's when Rabbi Akiva started to go back to school. We spoke about how water can be holy. We spoke about holy waters. We spoke about waters that have healing powers, like a mikveh. Ma mayim mitarim taguf. Kach Torah mitaret taguf. It says just like we have waters that heal that purify the body, Torah also purifies the body. Uma mayim mechasim ervato shel yam. And just like the water covers the nakedness of the ocean. This is a beautiful one. As it says in Yeshaya, Kamaim layam mechasim, kach Torah mechasa ervatan shel Yisrael. That's how the Torah covers the nakedness of the Jewish people. So like the water covers the nakedness of the ocean, the Torah covers the erva of Am Yisrael. V'al kol peshaim techase ava. That's the pasuk in Mishlei that talks about that the Torah covers all a person's sins. If he's able to learn, or if he's able to draw from it, it's able to forgive him for all the sins. So we see here that there's many examples of how the Torah is like water, and how it also has the ability to protect a person. But where is the source for this? Where do we get started with this source that water that is it here? There it is. Okay. The Torah is like mayim. So in order to understand this concept, we have to go into Sefer Shemot, Parashat Beshalach, Sin Refidim. What's Refidim? So we see that the Jewish people just left Egypt. This is after the splitting of the sea. They are right now in the desert, and they're in a place called Refidim. Why is this place called Refidim? Because this is the place where Rafu Yadam, their hands became weak, or their service of Hashem became lackadaisical. So what happened over there? It says, "Vaysu kol adat bnei Yisrael midbar sin lemasayim al pi Hashem, vayachanu b'refidim ve'en mayim lishtot ha'am." It says there's no water to drink over there. But if you go to the Mefarshim, they say ve'en mayim. They said there's no water, there's no Torah. They did not study any Torah. Hashem gave them a couple of mitzvot to busy themselves with, and they didn't do it. And over there, it starts. Vayomru, tnu lanu mayim v'nishteh, give us water and we'll drink. Vayomer Moshe, ma terivuni madim. Moshe tells them, what are you fighting with me? And back and forth, they're finally able to supply them water. But because they went for a few days without learning Torah, you go to Pasuk Chet, what does it say? Vayavo Amalek. Vaylachem em Yisrael b'refidim. As soon as they stopped learning Torah, Amalek came and fought the Jewish people in Refidim. What's the lesson over here? You have to understand that Amalek is the descendant of Esav. Esav, his angel is the Samech Mem. Okay? The Yetzer Hara, the devil, the Malach HaMavet. Okay? He is always out to get the Jews. We have here a situation where Amalek, who knows that the Jewish people just left Egypt with 10 makot. They know that Hashem split the ocean for them. They know they're in the desert with the great leader of Moshe, and Hashem is protecting them. Yet, they had enough nerve to come and fight them in the desert. Why? Several reasons. One of them is because they saw in the stars that right now they can defeat the Jewish people. Why? Rafu Yadam. They're not dealing with the Torah. So we see that when we don't deal with the Torah, who comes to get us? Amalek. So the Gemara talks about this exact same part of the parasha. It goes like this. In Baba Kama, on the 82nd page, talks about Ezra. Ezra tiken that we read the Torah on Mondays, on Thursdays, and Shabbat. Why? If you go further down, it tells you, because the Jewish people went in the desert for 3 days without Torah. The Nevi'im said, we can't have this, we have to learn that as soon as they went without Torah for 3 days, Amalek came to attack them. Right away they established that we have to read B'yom Sheni, B'yom Chamishi, and B'yom Shabbat. So like that, the Jewish people never go without Torah for 3 days. That's why we go to Shul and we take out the Torah on Mondays, Thursdays, and Shabbat. So there's no such a reality that we're without Torah for 3 days. As a matter of fact, I think I shared this in this class one time, but it's a beautiful chidush from the Ben Ish Chai. He says that Da'agu Hazal, that the rabbis da'agu, they worried. What did they worry about? They worried about the Jewish people not being able to, not studying Torah for more than 3 days, so Amalek or the Yetzer Hara doesn't come to attack them. So if you take the word da'agu, you have Dalet, Aleph, Gimel, Vav, which is Dalet is Wednesday, Aleph is Sunday, Gimel is Tuesday, Vav is Friday. Those are the 4 days that we don't read the Torah. And the ones that we do is Monday, Thursday, Shabbat. Da'agu. Furthermore, before we actually have a different place in Bereshit where we see that they refer to the Torah as water. We remember when Yosef was thrown into the pit by his brothers, when they came back to get him, they saw that the pit, the bor, was empty. Why? Because he was sold to the Ishmaelim and taken on a caravan all the way to Mitzrayim. So when they came to check that pit, what does it say over there? Vabor rek eno yoda she'en bo mayim. It says the pit is empty, and then Rashi adds en bo mayim. What do you mean? If it's empty, you don't have to tell me that there's no water. Just leave it alone. It's empty. You don't have to tell me that there's no water over there in the well. Elama, what is it coming to teach us? Talmud lomar en bo mayim, meaning this whole thing that there's no water over there. Mayim en bo, aval nachashim va'akravim yesh bo. There's no water in the pit, but there are snakes and scorpions. The rabbis want us to learn this Rashi differently. What's the bor? The bor is the mind. And it says mayim en bo. What's mayim? Mayim is Torah. When the mind has no Torah, what does it have? Nachashim va'akravim. Snakes and scorpions thoughts going through the mind. And you should know that the mind, especially nowadays with social media, Facebook, Instagram, movies, Hollywood, everything, the Yetzer Hara is full court press on all of us. If you are not going to put Torah in the bor, if you're not going to put headphones and listen to Divrei Torah, if you're not going to listen to classes, if you're not going to busy yourself with Maim, with Torah, as soon as you take off those ear sets, as soon as you are not listening to Torah and you're listening to something else, Nachashim va'akravim, that's it. The mind is now starting to run with everything that the Yetzer Hara has planned for you. Because he has you. He has you. You're not going to turn left, you're not going to turn right without having something that's going to grab your attention. I just got an email. The email takes you to WhatsApp. WhatsApp takes you to Facebook. Facebook takes you to Instagram. And then just when you feel, okay, I finished the circle, that's it, I checked everything. Ding! Starts again. It doesn't let up. It doesn't let up. And even if I'm putting it down, you're putting it out. You turn over here, there's your friend on the phone. Oh, did you see what? You look at your friend's phone now. What they have over there? It's never ending. It's never ending. Maim en bo, when there's no Torah in it, nachashim va'akravim yesh bo. So you have to be careful. So we see that Maim again is connected to Torah. Because a Jew without Torah is actually like a fish out of water. In Masechet Avodah Zarah, it tells us the exact same thing. It says, Nimshelu bnei Adam kedagei hayam. We know that the dagim, fish, are actually gilgulim of tzaddikim. They're underneath the water. Lo sholet b'hem ayin hara. There's more that a lot that can be said about fish. But it says over here, Kevan sha'olin laibasha miyad metim, dagim shebayam, the fish that's in the water, in the ocean. Kevan sha'olim laibasha miyad metim, as soon as they hit land, right away they die, meaning they have to stay in water. Af bnei Adam, kevan sheposhim in divrei Torah mitzvot miyad metim. It says the same ways with the human beings, or right now the Masechet Avodah Zarah is talking about the Jews. As soon as they go away from Torah, mitzvot, maasim tovim, right away they die. He says why? He says just like a fish out of water, a Jew is to Torah. A fish out of water is physical death. A Jew without Torah, that's a spiritual death. That's a spiritual death. They have something in the last part of this Gemara, something very interesting. It says, Dagim shebayam כיוון שגדרה עליהם חמה, מיד מתים. It says the fish in the ocean, as soon as you take him out and then you put him out in the sun, right away the heat kills them. כך בני אדם שגדרה עליהם חמה, מיד מתים. The same thing if a person has a hot sun on top of him, he also dies. It's kind of weird. Most people don't put the fish outside in the heat in order for it to kill it. And also, we don't typically see people dying from being outside in the sun. So what is the Gemara trying to tell us? So, many times you'll see that the Jews are connotated to the moon. And the Goyim are the sun. That's why they have a solar calendar or a calendar that's around the sun, and we have a lunar calendar. So sometimes they make a distinction between the Jews and the Gentiles, like the Shemesh and the Yareach. Man and woman, many different rabbi and their teacher, a husband and a wife, the sun and the moon, they use many different mashalim. However, over here they say when you put the person outside in the sun too much, what? Too much goyim on him. Too much influence of the goyim on him, what happens? Dead. A Jew without Torah is like a fish out of water. Just like a fish out of water dies eventually, a Jew without Torah eventually has a spiritual death. You see the dead man walking. He's around. Yeah. He's still in Publix. Yeah. They still go to the mall. They still do everything, and they live long lives. Spiritually, they're dead.
They have the pintaligid.
Huh?
They have a pintaligid. They have like a small spark of Hashem.
Exactly, and that's why, first of all, that godly spark is everything. That godly spark is everything. That godly spark will get Olam Haba. But the whole point here is not to come through 70 years, 80 years, 120 years in this world with the low flame. You got to come here and go into Breslev, go into Chabad, come to the Lighthouse, get fanned, become like Baomer inside. What do you want to come to? Hi Hashem, it was all right. Oh, you want to come to him and you want to tell him, I like, beautiful chidushim, I did a lot of chesed, did a lot of mitzvot. Not only that, what's a Jew's life? It's all tikkun. We're all here to repair. No, it's not a country club. We didn't come here to watch baseball games and eat ice cream and go to the beach. It's not, we could enjoy that. It is, we could have that as part of our lives. But as Jews, we are spiritual beings. We're the people of the book. We got 613 tasks that Hashem wants us to do. And each time you do it, you connect more to Hashem, and you understand God more, and you have more of a connection to God, and you have more of a spiritual uplifting. Little by little. I mean, right now we don't have to do 613. I think it's less than 100 almost that are relevant to each person. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. You're not going to perform every mitzvah. But as a whole, we'll perform all 613. Because that guy over there got divorced and he also had pidyon ben. That guy over there was able to do, what do you call it when you're taking out the prisoner? Pidyon shvuim. And then another one over there is going to be able to do chesed. And then the other one over there is going to do incredible learning and teaching. So all of us together will perform the 613. We're one big body as Am Yisrael. But each one has to do their part. We're in this world letaken. We're in this world to do mitzvot. If not, we're like a fish out of water. As a matter of fact, did you know that when it rains, fish jump out of the water in order to take a drop of the new rain into their mouth?
Why?
Exactly, why? You're like in billions of gallons of water in the ocean. What are you jumping out of the sea in order to get a drop of rain in your mouth? So Chazal tell us the reason why they do that is because the water is sweet to them. The rain is sweet to them. It's brand new. It's a new drop of water. So what's the chidush over here? He says, remember we said the fish, they're tzaddikim, right? What did the tzaddikim want? They're right now surrounded by water. They're surrounded by Torah. But what they want? The new chidush. Oh, they want the new nuance on the Torah. It's so sweet. They jump out of the water to get something new because it's sweet to them. Sometimes a fish out of water for a split second is just to get some new, incredible new Torah. There's a famous mashal. I can't stop repeating it, but it's just amazing. I heard it from Rabbi Mansour, like maybe close to 5 years ago, about water. And he says, it's about Jewish people and religion, and how certain people are able to be in the religion and enjoy it, and some people are so far away from it, just see it like, it's so heavy, I can't. So he gave a mashal. He says, those water coolers that have that 5-gallon jug that you put on top, and it runs for like a week or two, and then you replace it. He says, how heavy is that jug of water? Super heavy. What if I tell you take 2 of those? Super heavy, right? And what if I tell you take it from the Lighthouse all the way to, to Aventura Mall? I'm going to tell, whoa, are you kidding me? It's so heavy, I can't.
I'd say by the time I get there, they'll both be empty.
Probably from drinking it, right? So it's just too heavy. I can't do it. It's too much for me, right? He says that the water is the Torah. Sometimes people, when they're outside of the Torah life, they feel it's so heavy. I can't. It's like it's a drag. I can't do it. He says, but it's so funny because we could right now go to Aventura Beach over here, right? Jump into the water. Billions of gallons of water around us. We're swimming, and all of a sudden, the water. It's lifting us. We're actually floating in the water. What's the difference? Over here, 5 gallons, you can't carry it. Meanwhile, you got billions of gallons of water on top of you, and you're floating. He says the difference is, this is when you're immersed in the religion, you don't feel it. When you're in the Torah, you don't feel it. On the outside, it feels so heavy, you can't, it's like a drag, I can't do it. But when you're in the water, when you're in the Torah, when you're in the Torah life, you don't even feel it. And that's the whole thing. Some people just don't know how sweet the Torah is. Sometimes people don't know how beautiful our religion is. Some people don't know just a little bit more than what they just know right now. Sometimes it's just if you take some time to educate yourself, the way you educate yourself on Facebook and Google, like experts on everything. We're experts on everything. I asked it, can you name me who's Noah's children? Oh, they scratch their head. Can you give me the 4 mothers? Oh, maybe they'll squeak out, Rachel and Leah. Maybe they'll squeak out. They still have to use their fingers to count them. The 12 tribes, forget it. Nevi'im? What's Nevi'im? If you ask about Bereshit, ask about the Midbar, Korbanot, this and that, you lose them. Why? How come you know more about everything else but your religion?
The celebrities. Right.
Forget it. They'll tell you what they wore, where they went on vacation, how many children they have, what's their favorite food. They'll tell you everything about the celebrities.
Or the men with baseball and statistics.
Exactly. Ask them, what's the halakha on Shabbat? Are you allowed to rip a piece of paper on Shabbat or no? Are you allowed to pick up a plant on Shabbat or no? I don't know. No, it's too heavy for me. In Chot Shabbat, it's too heavy. I can't. Too many rules. But they haven't yet experienced Shabbat. They still haven't experienced the sweetness of the Torah. That you see that all the berachot, all the refuot, all the yeshuot, everything that a person wants in his life is here. You just have to activate it. Tons and tons of secret codes and secret formulas how to be successful in life. All you have to do is open up your mind and open up your ears. Nowadays, tons of rabbis will let you know how to be successful as a Jew. Before it was hard. There was no books. There was no internet. There was no communication like today. Today it's so easy. You can you can Google the Jewish religion and find out everything. But yet we still, 90% of the time, we Google everything else. So when you're outside of it, it feels heavy. But when you're in it, it carries you. In life, you have to be liquid. What's liquid? How does it behave? That's how we behave. We learned today that you have to go to the lowest depths of humility to achieve the highest levels of spirituality. That's anav. That's anav. As a matter of fact, in last week's parasha, beautiful Rashi. You want to learn a quick Rashi with me? You know what's anav? We know it's how to be humble, right? We have to be humble, low like water. Rashi says, you know what's anav when speaking about Moshe Rabbeinu? Shafel v'savlan. 2 words. That's it. You could actually memorize this Rashi for the rest of your life. Shafel v'savlan. What's shafel v'savlan? I mean, it has nothing to do with water right now, but it's just very interesting that when you talk about humility, shafel is very low. He doesn't think too much of himself. Very low key. Everybody's better than him, but meanwhile he's the highest person on the planet at the moment. Shafel. V'savlan. What's savlan? Comes from the word savlanut. Patience. He has patience, right? But the rabbis tell us, take the word v'savlan and you could turn it into sablan. What's sablan? Sabal. Sabal is a person that carries like let's say packages on his back, or a person that you would hire to carry things for you as sabal, right? So he's a sablan. What's a sablan? He takes all the problems of all the people around him and he bears them. It puts him on his shoulders and he bears it. He bears his wife, his children, the nation, everything what's going on. He has patience with all of them. That's anav. That's how you become humble. So when you get to this depths of humility, you're able to achieve the highest levels of spirituality. Just like water goes all the way to the ground, and some way, somehow goes all the way to the top of the tree, and sometimes even goes to the top of the sky and becomes a cloud. Say it again?
Just like about Shula, the Mokum Shul Shula and Tabakama, right? Because it starts to go so low, and then he gets up to a level where a regular person can't get.
To their credit, it's because they were so low and they were able to leave it behind.
Right.
You know, imagine the Yetzer Hara has like an amazing client. He doesn't even have to like babysit him anymore. He doesn't even have to give him challenges. He doesn't even have to show up. He's got him on autopilot. He wakes up in the morning, he's like, oh, that guy? Don't worry. He's got his phone, he's crazy about sports, his eyes are wandering everywhere, hasn't been to shul in years. Don't worry. This guy, he's on autopilot. So when that guy is able to pull himself out, it's because he every day knows that he could be doing that. And he's saying, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do bad. I'm going to do good. That's why they're on such a high level. Also, if you see Baalei Tshuva, it's amazing. You ever see them say a bracha? Baruch atah, like all over the place, just for bracha. You see them in shul, they're bobbing and weaving. The guy from praying for 20 years is like yawning in a thing. He's like, doing like this, watching everybody. Meanwhile, the Baal Tshuva is able to get such kavanot. He's able to connect. It's like such a short period of time. Where were you for 19 years? And how is it now that all of a sudden you're here and you're so connected? Why? Because the farther the person is in the tum'ah, that's how potential he is in the kedusha part of it. That's why when you see people that are very, very far from the religion, don't write them off. Those can be the biggest tzaddikim in the world. It's just that the Yetzer Hara picks and chooses who he wants. He takes the best ones because he knows if he lets go of these Michael Jordans, what happened? He's going to lose. And I know for a fact in the Baal Tshuva movement, every guy that sometimes when I sit down and talk, you talk to them like, wow, this guy was, we don't want to talk about where they were. And you look at them and they're like geniuses in Torah. How is it that they were on so far away and yet now they're on such a high level? That's the power. That's the power of Torah. And that's what it's Baalei Tshuva have a much higher level than the religious. Don't get me wrong, anyone who's been religious for a very long time, in French they say, chapeau, I take my hat off to you. Incredible. It's a zchut. You probably have 1 million less sins than all of us. I'm sure that there's credit in the Shamayim for that. But you can't take away the fervor of the Baal Tshuva. It's amazing. Sometimes they're around to wake up all the monotonous room. We spoke in our last lesson that we are actually made of 75% of water. The world is made of water. us as human beings were made of water, and we know that water absorbs spiritual energy. So make sure that you absorb the proper spiritual energy. We spoke about the cup. We had like one glass of water on the table the whole night, and we said if you speak divrei Torah, if you talk, if you are able to get these waters to absorb a certain energy, and we spoke about that Japanese doctor that had science behind it and showed it that when we say the bracha, we infuse that water with spiritual energy, and you drink it. The healing powers, the memory, all the different things, the rabbi's graves. We spoke about all that, and we spoke how certain waters can be dangerous, right? Now, if we're made out of water, we're going to interact the exact same way. So if somebody's nice to us, if somebody speaks pleasantly to us, or if there's Torah that's being taught, what happens to the water inside of us? It becomes healthy, it becomes blessed, it becomes spiritually infused, just like that glass. Chas v'shalom the other way. What happens when somebody yells at you, Chas v'shalom, curses at you, Chas v'shalom, you're not learning Torah, you're watching the Kardashians. What is it going to be? What's going to be? What's going to be? What do you think the water is going to react? How are your water molecules going to be? Brown, dark, that's it. And then the neshama goes into that low flame again. Help! Save me! Right? So we know the Torah is like water. It's a source of life. We have a special pasuk that says, "Etz chaim hi lamachzikim ba." Right? It's a tree of life to those that hold on to it. Why is it called a tree of life? So many different explanations, but we know because life is Mayim, the Torah. That's how we get the life. The Torah is our life. You have to understand that we have a challenge. It's almost like, what is a Jew? A Jew is a special neshama. It's the 0.00002% of the world, Hashem's special elite bunch, that Hashem says, I'm going to give you a special spark. You're my children. Go run these errands for me. You are here in this world to fix the world. The world is broken. Go fix it one mitzvah at a time. And we're here with a challenge because we have this holy neshama that just wants to be with God, just wants to perform the Torah, and then we have the vessel that carries it that wants nothing to do with it. It wants the body, it wants the food, it wants the fun, it wants it wants the laziness. So you have a challenge of a holy neshama and a body that is of the gashmiut, ruchaniut versus the gashmiut. So what happens? Sometimes you lose the war. It's gashmiut is winning. Sometimes you win the war, ruchaniut. But the truth is, even if it's just ruchaniut, you're losing. Because the whole purpose of the Jew is when the ruchaniut and the gashmiut are working together. It's that 50-50. That's when it works. Hashem wants you to enjoy this world. Hashem wants you to. He didn't create this whole world so you can lock yourself up in a room. He wants you to go outside and see the trees and see the parks and see the oceans and see everything that He created. He wants you to do it. But through kedusha, by elevating it, by going through the world and sanctifying it. So if you're doing that, it's all through Torah. So if you're doing it, you're alive. If you're not doing it, you're dying. So when it says Etz Chaim and Machzikim Ba, just like we can't live without water, similarly us Jews, we cannot live without Torah. Like we said, it's spiritual suicide. Anybody who wants to take care of the neshama that's running the body has to give it Torah. Has to give it its spiritual sustenance, the water, the mind. Knowing this, that's why the rabbis made it that we don't go without Torah for 3 days. They say you can't. As soon as you go for 3 days without Torah, who comes? Amalek. Amalek comes to get you. Who's Amalek? The Yetzer Hara. You can't do that. We know. If you ever catch yourself that you see that you slipped 3 days without Torah, be careful. He's coming for you. Exactly. So what you want to do is you definitely, you didn't learn yesterday, not a problem. Turn on your phone, learn a halakha, turn on a class, do one of those 5-minute videos that they send out on the groups. Do something. If it's the end of the day before you go to sleep, press play on something, listen to something. Don't let a day go without Torah. Why? Because then you leave yourself open to an attack. Just like in the Fidim. it's the Torah is our protection. It's the blanket that protects us in this dangerous world. I don't need to tell you, this is one thing that I don't have to pitch, is that the world is crazy. Right now, it's just not even what it used to be when I was younger, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. You turn on the news, I'm like, what's going on? It's just not normal. Okay, so it's the days of Mashiach, we know that. But you know what makes me feel that I can go to sleep at night and sleep good? Good 5 hours. You know what?
5 whole hours.
5 whole hours. 6 hours. 6 hours. You know what makes me feel good? I got Torah. I'm a Jew. If I learn Torah, it's going to protect me. Hashem is watching out for me. I don't have to fear what's going on around me. Just like the Pasuk says, Elef mimenecha virveva mimenecha. In other words, there's going to be a time where there's going to be 1,000 that are dying on the left and 10,000 on the right. And what do you have to worry about? Nothing. Because they're going to die, not you. You're going to be protected.
Yeah, but you have the Arab problem, so you have the Arab problem.
It's part of it. It's all part of the. It's very intricate.
Before I get you run out, I just wanted to say if I could stay with you in class, I would.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
He's the best.
In the famous words of Bruce Lee, if you
He
know,
was not a stupid person. Hashem gave a lot of stuff to Chachma, exactly.
in the famous words of Bruce Lee, if you look it up, he's world famous for this saying: "You have to be liquid."
Okay.
That's what Bruce Lee used to say. You have to be
Go
liquid.
with the flow.
Go with the flow. You have to be loose. You have to be agile. You have to be able to squeeze into corners to avoid a hit. You're supposed to. It's not set in stone.
Voluntarily liquid.
Oh, you know what? That's excellent. That's Rashi.
No, I was going to say that before. It's
Yeah, you have to be casual. Chazak, beautiful. Chidush, you see? Chidush, you can learn from anybody.
Yeah.
You can learn from anybody.
I was going to say that before, but I just didn't want to say it.
You have to be liquid.
Yeah, liquid.
You have to be liquid. Bruce Lee says you have to be liquid. He was talking about martial arts. He was talking about fighting. He was talking about being successful in his world. But for our class, for what's going on right now, we also have to be liquid. We have to act like the water. We have to act like the water. We have to have the cohesion. We have to be connected to one another to lift each other up. We have to have the mime that protects us in everything that we do. The mime is Torah. Anytime you see the word water in the Chumash, switch it into Torah and you'll see that the sentence or the pasuk or the scripture changes its meaning in a split second. Switch it. Mime is Torah. And even though that we did,
It's funny how they use mine for mine genuvim.
mime,
In a negative way. Mine genuvim, stolen waters are sweet.
yes, mime genuvim. Mime genuvim, they say, is another man's wife.
Oh, really?
They say mime genuvim
Because she's stealing his life.
because mime genuvim always taste sweeter. Why? Because they're stolen water. So they say, what's mime genuvim? They say another person's wife. And they're considered the same. So the Gemara talks about it, that there's nothing that Hashem created that is forbidden for us, that He didn't give it to us in a way that is permissible.
So how do you get another person's wife that's permissible?
No. But
Once
what
she
are you getting
get
from it?
once
Same thing from yours.
once they get divorced, you can be with her.
Right.
Oh, not
Once he passes away, he can be with her. She can be permissible, but not while they're together.
That's true.
Right.
Otherwise, with no divorces. Otherwise, there would be no such thing as different things that are going on. So,
But Kenuvim is like they say it's sweeter. They said my Kenuvim is sweeter.
It's like the grass.
sweeter, because they're gnuvim, they're stolen. You got them for free.
When it's
You got away with it.
forbidden fruit. It's like,
Even though we did 3 different lessons about water, and I'm pretty happy with the different things that we discussed and the different things that we learned. Each lesson was completely different from the other. But we didn't even scratch the surface.
wow.
Just today I discovered enough for another 2 or 3 lessons. And I actually deeply feel that we don't even really know the true secret to water in this world. If you ever think about it,
Yeah.
its strength, its power, its size, the life that it gives, the life that's within it, how it's an agent to almost every little thing that we have. It has to have liquid. I don't know. I still don't feel like I cracked what water is. I feel like we got a nice introduction. We were able to, see a lot of different aspects of what water is. But Be'ezat Hashem revealed to us the real secret of mine. שיטו ליבכם לחילה, פסגו מאותן למען תספר דרכו של השם, מברך אתכם, שמח אתכם. Thank you so much for coming to the class. And Be'ezat Hashem, we'll see what we'll do next week for a new lesson.